Bleeding purple and gold. From the heart of Los Angeles, this is the LakersNation.com podcast with your host, Trevor Lane.
Welcome to today's show. As always, we are powered by LakersNation.com and CLNS Media. Today's show is brought to you by Greats. Go to greats.com, use the promo code LakersNation at checkout, get 15% off a very stylish pair of shoes. I have some myself. Whenever I wear them, I get tons of compliments. They are extremely well made, very, very nice shoes. Again, go to greats.com, use promo code LakersNation when you check out, get 15% off. Also, we're brought to you by NatureBox. Go to naturebox.com/Lakers and you get 50% off a delicious set of snacks that will get delivered directly to your door. Again, that's naturebox.com/Lakers. Got a great show for you today. I have Clint Parks, who runs the Clint Parks Skills Academy and is the trainer for Kyle Kuzma, has been working with him since his freshman year of college at Utah. So he has some wonderful insight into everybody's favorite new Laker, Kyle Kuzma, who's actually been lighting up NBA preseason and helped bring home a Summer League championship. So we have a great discussion with him. As always, guys, you can find me on Twitter at Trevor_Lane. On today's show, I am joined by Clint Parks. He runs the Clint Parks Skills Academy. You can find him on Twitter at Brotherhood05, and he works quite a bit with Kyle Kuzma. Clint, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Trevor. Really appreciate it.
So you've been working with Kyle Kuzma since his freshman year of college. He was at Utah. Can you tell us a little bit about that? You've been around him for quite a while now.
I mean, it's been a lot of fun just to watch him grow, not only on the court but off the court as well. And I think over the past couple of years, just seeing his game evolve and has really been a lot of fun for me.
He mentioned in an interview the other day, he was talking after the game in Las Vegas, the victory over the Sacramento Kings, with Jameson Welch of Believe the Hype. And he mentioned that he gives you a lot of credit for his development. He says it's not just the workouts you guys have done, but it's the way you're always talking to him and keeping his mentality in the right place. What is it that you've done to kind of keep him focused and get him prepared for the NBA?
I mean, one of the main things is just staying focused and focusing on the task at hand. And you know, there's a lot of things and outside influences, obviously, that come with being in LA, especially being a Laker, and just staying focused and keeping the main thing, which is basketball, and just remembering what you're here for. And you got a long career ahead of you, but you got to make the right decisions every day, and you got to stay in the gym. You got to put your work in, and I mean that's a staple for all my guys that I work with, is just really just being relentless in the work that you put in every day.
Now Kyle Kuzma is obviously quickly becoming a fan favorite for Lakers fans. And, you know, when he was first drafted, there were a lot of kind of raised eyebrows because most of the mock drafts didn't quite have him going that high. I believe Draft Express switched theirs to have him going to the Lakers at 27th overall the day of the draft. When you guys were getting ready for the draft, what did you do to prepare Kyle for team workouts, and how did all that play out?
Actually, he worked out in Chicago with a guy by the name of Tim Anderson. That was basically where his agency had him working out. But we just, more so than anything, was just a lot of mentally, just the mindset and the mentality that you have to have going into these workouts, that, you know, you're playing for your livelihood right now. It's your job now. You're not in college. Like, he left school early, even though he graduated. He still had 1 year to play, so it was like he knew what was at stake, and he was ready to go out and compete. And he believed in himself. So the workouts was just really just attacking everyone who steps in front of you with the mentality of, I got to dominate and just show teams what I'm capable of, because you're no longer in college. The name on the front of your jersey can't carry you. You can't hide behind that. You lace up, and then you see who's who. And that's obviously from the combine. Going back to that combine, I mean, everyone's got to see, like, just how talented and how how good he is. And, obviously being on the West Coast, teams don't always team scouts, mock drafts, they don't always see Pac-12 teams play, but consistently the Pac-12 is producing the best players in the NBA. And, I mean, obviously you're just seeing someone who's considered a sleeper but before the draft, but now you could tell he's easily one of the best rookies. In my opinion, he is the best rookie in the NBA.
So he's playing alongside some other talented rookies. He's got Thomas Bryant, he's got Josh Hart, of course, Lonzo Ball. But you're right, Kyle Kuzma has really stood out. He has shocked a lot of people. And the one thing that has really surprised everyone has been his shooting. His shooting has blown everyone away compared to what he was able to do in college. It seems like towards the end of his college season, he started to see an uptick in his shooting percentage, particularly from downtown. And now that he's into the NBA, his shooting is just off the charts. He's been hitting just about everything. What do you attribute that to? Is that just hard work, or what's happening here to make him suddenly become such a phenomenal shooter?
I think it's a mixture of a couple of things. Obviously, just confidence and just the work that he's put in consistently, and some things just take longer to click. And right now, what we're seeing is just they started to click at the end of last year and second half of the season, and he's always worked hard at it, and he's been diligent in his work as far as trying to hone his stroke in and be more consistent. And just I think he alluded to it in a couple of interviews that the line being further back, he understands that he has less margin for error. That he needs to really lock in on his fundamentals every single shot. And his confidence, like I always tell people, my saying is all hoops all day. Like, class, no study hall, no nothing, just strictly basketball. And for a hooper and someone who loves the game like him, like that's a player's dream. So, like, his mind is free. He's not worrying about some sociology test or a math test that he might have on Thursday or Friday that he has to get prepared for. He's just, every day is just come in, worry about your game and how you can get better, attacking your weaknesses. And he has a great staff at the Lakers. Miles Simon, somebody who I've known for a few years and someone who I really respect. And to be able to work with somebody of that caliber, hands-on every day, has also helped his development as well. And also playing for a coach like Luke Walton, that can only help because he's a player's coach. He played in the league. He understands what these guys are going through, and he just continues to. I mean, it never hurts when you have your head coach come out in the media and just say, like, I believe in this kid. Like, that's what you want as a player. And so to have that's only given Kyle even more confidence.
Yeah, in fact, Luke Walton just said after the Lakers' heartbreaking loss to the Utah Jazz that something to the effect of he has to find a way to get Kyle minutes, or he intends to get him minutes regardless of what the rotation is. And that's something that really wowed me, because that's not necessarily something that you hear about a rookie all the time. Hearing a coach say that he has to find a way to get minutes for him. What is it that Kyle's been able to do out there on the floor to make Coach Walton feel like he has to figure out a way to get him minutes?
I mean, he's just so active. Like if you watch the games, like he's always around the play. Like he's sticking his nose in there. Defensively, he's getting deflections. He's on the glass. Like he rebounded better last night, which is a big emphasis for him. Just attacking the boards and just sprinting the floor. You notice we always talk about whether you get the ball or not. You should sprint the ball. You should sprint the floor. Be the first one down the court every possession. Make your matchup work. Don't let him take a play off. And he's constantly just in the mix, and he's just always like he's a competitor. A lot of guys come into this league as a rookie. There's a big respect thing. Like there's a lot of guys who put in a lot of work, but for you to make your name in this league and to just let guys know, like the older guys, the vets, they're gonna respect you. They respect young guys who come in with a no nonsense business approach towards the game, and they just love to compete. And I think that's one of the things that's endeared himself to his teammates and his coaches, because he just shows up every day. He's there early, he stays late, and he's just willing to work. And when you're willing to work, there's nothing but basketball purists around, so they're going to respect that.
We're going to pause for just 1 second to talk about Greats. Greats are the makers of all-time classic, stylish, and comfortable sneakers sold at a great price. They are Brooklyn's first sneaker company, and they sell classic styles made by the best for less. They have a wide selection of men's and women's shoes. They're very, very versatile styles, lots of different options, tons of different colors and materials to choose from. I have a pair myself. I absolutely love them. I'm already getting compliments on my pair of Greats. Tons of phenomenal styles. Again, you can find them at greats.com. And maybe the best part is that now they have linked up with us. They are providing a special deal for Lakers Nation listeners. You can get 15% off your first order with the promo code LakersNation. All you have to do is go to greats.com, that's GREATS.com, and enter the promo code LakersNation to save 15% at checkout. They believe so much in their shoes, they're going to offer you a no-risk return and exchange policy, which is going to guarantee that you get the right fit and the style that you love. So again, go to greats.com, use our promo code LakersNation, save yourself 15%. It's a phenomenal deal. We thank Greats for sponsoring our show. Is there anything in particular that you see him working on as the season progresses? I mean, he's already hit the ground running, but what areas of his game do you see that he still needs to continue to refine?
You could always work. I mean, offensively, he's just learning when to pick his spots, the spacing, not getting in a hurry. Like a couple of times last night, he caught the ball in the wing one time, was in a hurry. Should I shoot it? Should I drive it? Should I pass it? And he traveled. Just small stuff like that. I mean, you could always get better. There's always room for you to improve. Everyone knows that. You know, his ball handling, he still can be consistent, better in the mid-range at times. You know, finishing over length, which is going to continue to get harder when you're facing guys like DeAndre Jordan and Rudy Gobert, like last night, consistently some of the best shot blockers in the league. So, and then defensively, just playing low all the time. I think just playing with a good base and just always just being active, having your hands, disrupting offensive players' rhythm. I think that's a very big thing for him because he has great length and he has to learn how to consistently use it, not just sometimes, but all the time.
You know, one of the things that really stood out to me, or has stood out since we first started seeing Kyle play in Summer League, was that on the defensive end, he's perfectly willing to switch off onto whoever. It doesn't seem to matter, and he accepts the challenge. You can see from his body language that he's totally fine with trying to stay in front of a guard. He'll body up with bigs. Is that all part of the mentality side of what you've been talking about?
Oh, yeah, just having the versatility to guard 1 through 4 is huge, especially in this new age NBA. You know, his length, his athleticism, his lateral quickness. I mean, he's only going to get stronger. He's going to fill out into his body. It's going to allow him to guard guys that are bigger and stronger, like Joe Johnson last night. Like that was a good test for him, just to show him, like, you know, these are the type of guys that you're going to face that are strong and just going to try to take you to the block and put you in the rim, just back you down. So I mean, just as he gains strength, he's going to be able to guard those types of guys easier. But as far as being able to switch out and guard a 1 on a pick and roll, or you get stuck on a chasing a 2 off a screen, those are all things that I think he's more than capable of doing, and that gives him the chance to be, in my opinion, one of those guys like a Kawhi Leonard, elite 2-way player, because he has the offensive skills, and then you just throw in the defense because he has all that too, and that's when you see something very special. And I think that's where he could get his game to.
You know, you also see him out there running some fast breaks. He's perfectly willing to rebound the ball and then push. And I've been pretty impressed with his passing. His court vision is a lot better than I would have expected. And when you combine him with a guy like Lonzo Ball, who's also an excellent passer, you can see some pretty spectacular plays forming out on the court. Lonzo and Kyle Kuzma both combined quite a bit in Summer League. We're excited to see them combine again here during the regular season. Why have they gelled so instantly? It seems like they just have incredible chemistry out on the court.
I think one of the main things is just they're both high IQ basketball players. You know, Zoe is he's going to kick it ahead. He makes you want to run every possession because you know if you run 10 times and you're open, he's going to get it to you 10 times. and just that ball movement, it just spreads throughout the team. And Kyle's the same way. He has really good vision. He had a couple games last year where he had almost triple doubles. He loves to find teammates. Like when he gets it off the backboard, just having that confidence from your head coach to push it and make plays is huge. And also knowing like with that responsibility and that freedom from your coach to get it off the backboard and go, you got to make good decisions. And his decision making has been, like, in my opinion, it's been pretty good so far. There's always going to be trial and error, but that's one of the good things. The more you do it in the game, the more comfortable you'll get with it. And I think his handle, you just see him do certain things. Like last night, that move that he hit on Thabo Cephalosha in the second quarter, just coming down full speed, make a short crossover real quick, and then a spin when the defender jumps. Like that's not a move. That's not a regular move you see from a rookie at that size handling the ball.
No, definitely not. And in fact, his size has become sort of a topic of discussion here, because coming into the summer, everyone had him penciled in as a power forward, and yet we're seeing him get minutes at small forward. So, Clint, I've got a couple questions for you on that. First of all, does it matter to Kyle whether he plays small forward or power forward, and which do you personally believe is going to be his long-term position?
He's a basketball player. He said that many a times, and I've always felt that way too. Watching him play, like you could put him at the point, you have him play some point. You can run him off screens. You can have him shoot. You can put him at the three. The only position I think that he's not really put in is a 5, but you can put him in different situations and he's going to be able to make plays. And that's what the NBA is today, is having guys that the more playmakers, shooters that you have on the court, the better. Like you got to have guys that are threats, and wherever you put him at, I think he's a threat. And so long term, I think he's going to be comfortable at the 3 or the 4. It doesn't really matter. The more he's on the court, the better. But I do think he could be in this league. He could be an elite 3, and he could be an elite 4. If his body continues to grow, which I think it will, like he's going to be elite to me, whatever position he plays.
Player comparisons are never easy. We talk about him switching between the 3 and the 4 with ease, and him being able to play in all these different roles. When you're thinking about his game, is there any past NBA players that you would compare him to, or that you're trying to model his game after?
He's just Kuz to me. Like he's just a throwback. Like he just gets it done in so many different ways. Especially with the way he's shooting the 3 ball. Like the comparison game is that's kind of hard. Like there's obviously been guys in the past that have been long and athletic, that could do multiple things with the ball in different spots on the court, But I just think that he's kind of unique. Like he's unique, like because he's unique in that sense that he's not just a rebound and push it guy. Like he can stay low on the dribble, and he can handle it like a guard. So it's different. It's different than just your normal tall guy handling the rock.
Right, and he's been making plays for the Lakers that have been really impressive. Whether it was defensively, he's getting up and contesting all kinds of shots. He is getting out on the break. He's passing the ball off. He's scoring. He's doing a little bit of everything, which, like you say, is pretty rare. It's not something that you find in a player very often. Now, Luke Walton is already getting asked a lot of questions about whether or not he's going to be put into the starting 5, which again is not normal for a rookie who was drafted 27th to already be pressuring to be put into the starting lineup. Is there any preference there? Does it matter whether or not he's a starter, or do you think it would be better for him to continue to come off the bench? Like, what's your take on that whole situation?
That's a coach's decision. Whatever role they see that put Kuz in to help the team win as much as possible, that's what he's going to be prepared to do. He doesn't care whether he's starting coming off the bench. He says it all the time. He's just happy to be a part of the organization, the best brand in basketball, and be able to wake up and live his dream every day.
We're going to pause for just 1 second and talk about NatureBox, which is one of my favorite companies. They're a wonderful sponsor of our show. They deliver snacks directly to your door, right up my alley. Now, we all want to eat better, but when it comes to snacks, sometimes it feels like the whole world is delicious and a billion calories or boring and tasteless. Well, it doesn't have to be that way. You can up your snack game with NatureBox. NatureBox has over 100 snacks that taste good and are actually better for you. All snacks are made from high-quality, simple ingredients, no artificial colors, flavors, or sweeteners, so you can feel good about what you're eating. My favorites are the mini snickerdoodle cookies. They're at the top of my list because I have a bit of a sweet tooth, and they are phenomenal. You're sure to find your new snack obsession at NatureBox. They add new snacks every month inspired by real customer feedback, the latest food trends, and professional chefs. It's very simple. Just go to naturebox.com, choose the snacks that you want, and NatureBox will deliver them right to your door. There's no risk. If you ever try a snack you don't like, don't eat it. NatureBox will replace it for free. And right now, NatureBox is partnering with us to offer Lakers Nation fans 50% off your first order when you go to naturebox.com/Lakers. That's right, 50% off your first order. Just go to naturebox.com/Lakers and you get 50% off your order. Phenomenal deal, naturebox.com/Lakers. Speaking of him being happy to be with the Lakers, what was that like draft night when he got selected 27th overall? Was he kind of anticipating being taken with that pick? Did he have a feeling like he might be going there, or was it just complete surprise? You know, what happened there?
I think he had a good feeling about his Lakers workout. He actually, I remember when he came in for his Lakers workout, we worked out the night before at the facility. He was shooting the ball well. His body was feeling good. He was really confident. He had been having good workouts, and he was ready to really just put on a show for the front office and the coaching staff. And I think he really did that in his workout and carried that over from the combine so they could see that it wasn't a fluke. So when the draft came, I think him and his agent, they felt comfortable that if he was around at 27, that the Lakers were going to take him. And I know the Spurs also were really interested in him as well at 30, I believe, or 29, one of those picks. And so he was, it wasn't like, I wouldn't say it was a complete shock, but just for him to be here in LA, I mean, with the best brand and for the most storied franchise in basketball, it's pretty, I mean, it's special. And I know he's excited and he's just taking advantage of it every day.
He definitely seems to have that kind of kid in a candy store look when he's out there on the floor. Like he's really enjoying what he's doing out there. And of course, the results are speaking for themselves. He is blowing everybody away with how well he's playing. Has he mentioned anything about what it's like playing alongside his Lakers teammates? Is there anybody that he's singled out to you?
I mean, he just loves playing with everybody. Like he's just a competitor. You know, obviously playing with Lonzo is a lot of fun because you just know he's going to find you. I mean, that's the scorer's dream. Anybody you want to play with a point guard like Lonzo, just all those guys, Larry, Julius, Jay Clarkson, just, you know, even Caruso, just the competitive nature, just all those guys. And then just having really good vets like Corey Brewer and Luol Deng is even another Utah guy like Andrew Bogut is huge for him as well. There's just so much knowledge for him to gain. Just he's young, but he's not like your normal rookie where he's coming in like, oh, I know everything, or he's just like he's a sponge every day. Like you've seen him before the game in Vegas asking Vince Carter questions like, what is it going to take? Like, how did you last so long to make it 20 years? What have you done? Just stuff like that. Just taking advantage. I always tell him, just take advantage of your resources every single day, and he's doing that.
I'm glad you mentioned that Vince Carter conversation because that was a phenomenal picture that we saw. We saw him sitting down and chatting with Vince Carter. But we didn't hear about what he actually spoke to Vince Carter about. So they were talking about the key to Vince Carter's longevity. Of course, we know he's 40 and still playing here in the NBA.
Yeah, it's just little stuff like that. Just he's just giving them the game, just being a true vet. Like, there's nothing like having a vet like Vince Carter. There's all these guys that have been in the NBA for so long. There's no different than the younger guys that played with Kobe, like towards the end of his career, how they got to see. Obviously, it was different, but just seeing that approach, and it'll be numerous guys like that as he goes on these road trips or different teams coming in where he's going to have an opportunity to just pick these guys' brains.
So before we wrap things up here, obviously he's off to a great start. Kyle Kuzma has quickly become a fan favorite. What's next as the season progresses? Do you see him pushing for the Rookie of the Year award, or where do you see him going?
It's just every day. Just my biggest thing to him is just wake up every day with the mentality that I got to get better. And if he does that and he just continues to approach every day like he's fighting and fighting to make the team, then everything else at the end of the road will take care of itself. But it's a long season. It's an 82-game season, so he just got to continue to get better every single day.
That's a great point. It is a long season, and that's not an easy jump for college players. That's something that takes some getting used to. So hopefully he's able to kind of weather the storm of what is an extremely long gauntlet of a season. Now, Clint, before we get you out of here, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the Clint Parks Skills Academy. I've seen video on YouTube of Kyle Kuzma there working with you, helping out. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of what your system's all about and how Kyle's involved?
I mean, the Clint Parks Skills Academy is just really just mentoring kids on and off the court, just trying to help them get better and, I mean, just reach whatever their goals are, like whether it's make your high school team, get to college, make it to the NBA, overseas. Like it's just all about trying to help kids and push them towards their goals and their dreams. I think Kyle has been he's a great role model along with a lot of other guys that I've worked with. Obviously, him being in LA is huge, and it's only going to continue to get bigger and better. And I'm just excited for what's for what lies ahead for me.
All right. Well, hey, Clint, thank you very much for your time and your insight into Kyle Kuzma, who's quickly becoming everybody's favorite Laker. Really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me on, Trevor.
All right, so that was Clint Parks of the Clint Parks Skills Academy. Again, find him on Twitter at Brotherhood05. Great stuff on Kyle Kuzma. That's going to wrap things up for us today. Don't forget, you can always find this show on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, the CLNS media app, and of course, LakersNation.com, the largest Lakers site in the world, where we try to be a one-stop shop for all things Lakers. That's going to do it for me today. My name is Trevor Lane, and this has been the Lakers Nation Podcast.